Glazed Breakfast Sandwich. This creation replaced traditional bread with a sliced, sugar-glazed donut to encase fried eggs, bacon, and cheese. It first gained mainstream attention when a major international coffee chain added it to their menu, sparking a nationwide debate over the boundaries of breakfast. The origin of the concept is often traced back to minor league baseball stadiums, where vendors sought the most calorie-dense, headline-grabbing concessions possible. Its unique characteristic is the extreme contrast between the sticky, crystalline sweetness of the glaze and the salty, savory grease of the processed meat. While it seemed like a culinary stunt that would quickly vanish, it remains a significant cultural marker of the extreme indulgence trend that dominated the early 21st century. Wasabi cheese. Introduced by a global donut franchise in its East Asian markets, this savory pastry featured a bright green frosting made from pungent horseradish and wasabi. Beneath the spicy exterior sat a filling of thick, savory cheese cream. The goal was to appeal to local palates that often favor savory snacks over sugary ones, but the sheer intensity of the nasal-clearing spice paired with fried dough was a shock to many consumers. This creation stands as a bold, if polarizing, attempt at localization, showing how global brands will strip away the traditional identity of a dessert to fit regional flavor profiles. Despite its strange reputation, it paved the way for more experimental savory-sweet hybrids in the snack food industry. Spam-filled Long John. This pastry was born in the heart of Hawaii, where canned ham has been a dietary staple since the mid-20th century. Local bakeries decided to take a classic yeast-risen Long John, omit the chocolate frosting, and stuff the center with a thick, seared slab of Spam. The result was a heavy, oil-rich pastry that functioned more as a portable meal than a light snack. Its historical context is tied deeply to the post-war era, where surplus military rations became integrated into Pacific Island cuisine. It stands out for its utilitarian nature, as it was sold primarily to workers looking for a cheap, filling, and durable breakfast that could withstand a humid morning. Kimchi. Developed as a limited edition item in South Korea, this pastry took the country's most famous fermented vegetable dish and turned it into a fried snack filling. The base was typically dusted with a fine red pepper powder rather than sugar, and the interior was packed with spicy, sour, fermented cabbage. The texture of the crunchy vegetables against the soft, chewy dough created a sensory experience that many found difficult to reconcile with the concept of a donut. It is a prime example of how traditional cultural staples can be reimagined through the lens of modern fast food. While it was not a permanent fixture, it highlighted the versatility of fried dough as a vessel for complex, acidic flavors. Dried pork and seaweed. A staple in many bakeries across China and Southeast Asia, this item is characterized by its fuzzy, fibrous appearance. The top is smeared with a layer of sweet mayonnaise, which acts as an adhesive for a dense coating of dehydrated, shredded pork floss and small bits of dried seaweed. The origin of this combination lies in the traditional use of pork floss as a topping on congee and buns, but the application to a Western-style donut created a unique global hybrid. This pastry successfully bridged the gap between traditional Chinese bakery techniques and modern confectionery, becoming a massive commercial success despite sounding unappealing to those outside the region. Charcoal Miracle. Emerging during the height of the activated charcoal health trend, this pastry featured a jet-black dough and pitch-black frosting. The color was achieved using carbonized coconut shells, which were marketed as having detoxifying properties. Historically, this represents the peak of the Instagrammable food era, where visual impact was prioritized over traditional flavor profiles. The texture was often described as slightly gritty or earthy, a stark departure from the smooth, buttery expectations of a standard pastry. Though the health claims were largely debunked by nutritionists, the item remains a fascinating case study in how visual aesthetics can drive sales for products that defy conventional culinary logic. Buffalo Crunch. Created as a promotional item for a major sporting event, this pastry was dipped in a spicy buffalo wing sauce glaze and topped with crushed corn chips. Some versions even included a side of blue cheese frosting to dip in. It was designed to capture the essence of a sports bar appetizer in a single handheld treat. Its unique characteristic was the aggressive heat, which often overwhelmed the sweetness of the underlying dough. Its legacy lies in how it pushed the savory concept to its absolute limit, testing whether consumers were willing to abandon the sweet identity of the donut entirely in favor of a salty, spicy novelty. Bird's Nest. This specialty item gained notoriety for its topping of edible bird's nests, a luxury ingredient in Chinese cuisine made from the solidified saliva of swiftlets. The nests are traditionally prized for their supposed medicinal properties and high price tag. By placing this high-status ingredient on a humble base, bakeries were attempting to create a high-low culinary experience. The result was a very expensive, gelatinous-topped pastry that most people found confusing rather than appetizing. It stands as a reminder of the lengths to which the food industry will go to create luxury versions of everyday items, even when the flavors do not naturally complement one another. Vegemite Sourdough. Produced in Australia, this item utilized the country's famous salty yeast extract as both a filling and a component of the glaze. Unlike a standard sweet donut, the base was often a tangy sourdough to better match the intense saltiness of the Vegemite. The origin was a collaboration between a heritage food brand and a boutique bakery, aiming to celebrate a national icon. Its unique characteristic was the overwhelming umami flavor, which provided a sharp, bitter contrast to the typical experience. This pastry serves as a testament to national pride in specific flavor profiles, proving that even the most divisive ingredients can find a home in the world of sweets. Gold Leaf Luxe. Recognized by record books as one of the most expensive ever sold, this item was covered in 24-karat edible gold leaf and infused with vintage champagne. It was sold by a high-end bakery in a major metropolitan city for a price that exceeded the weekly earnings of an average worker. The pastry was not designed for flavor, as gold leaf is tasteless, but rather as a symbol of extreme wealth and conspicuous consumption. This extreme luxury item represents the total transformation of the donut from a simple, accessible treat for the working class into a tool for marketing and status. These examples demonstrate that the donut is a remarkably flexible medium for culinary experimentation. While many of these creations challenged the traditional understanding of what a pastry should be, they each found a place in the market, however briefly. They reflect the diverse tastes of different cultures and the constant human desire to push boundaries, proving that in the world of food there is almost no limit to what can be sold.